A very good morning to all. Today we are starting with the fourth chapter of the literature book First Flight from the Diary of Anne Frank, written by Anne Frank. This lesson is a piece from the Diary of Young Girl or the Diary of Anne Frank. It is an autobiography that was first published in 1947. In this, Anne expresses her thoughts in a diary which was gifted to her on her 13th birthday. She names the diary Kitty, which she considers as her only true friend. She mentions about her childhood, her family, and lot other things that she told no one else. So let's begin. Before you read the chapter, Annalisa Marie Anne Frank was born on 12th June 1929 and died in somewhere in February and March of 1945. She was a German born Jewish girl. Now, Jewish is a religion. She was born in Germany, who wrote while in hiding with her family and four friends in Amsterdam during the German occupation of the Netherlands in World War II. Now, she wrote this diary when they were hiding. She and her family were hiding. This was all during the World War II. Her family had moved to Amsterdam after the Nazis. Nazis were the people of Hitler who have gained power in Germany but were trapped when the Nazi occupation extended in the Netherlands. As persecutions against the Jewish population increased, persecutions means that they were more violent towards the Jewish population, the family went into hiding in July 1942 in hidden rooms in her father Otto Frank's office building. Now, where they were hiding? In their father's office. After 2 years in hiding, the group was betrayed and transported to the concentration camp system, where Anne died of typhus in Bergen-Belsen within days of her sister Margaret Frank. Now, hers was a tragic death. When they were shifted to the camp, there she died after her sister also by the disease typhus. Her father Otto, the only survivor of the group, returned to Amsterdam after the war ended. To find that her diary had been saved, convinced that it was a unique record, he took action to have it published in the English under the name The Diary of a Young Girl, and his father decided that he is going to publish her daughter's diary by the name The Diary of a Young Girl. It was published after death of Anne Frank. Now, beginning with the explanation part of the chapter, this was the complete introduction where we come to know that this was written by Anne Frank while they were hiding during World War II. Writing in a diary is really a strange experience for someone like me, not only because I've never written anything before, but also because it seems to me that later on neither I nor anyone else will be interested in the musings of a 13-year-old schoolgirl. Musings means a time period where she is reflecting, a record of few things. Oh well, it doesn't matter, I feel like writing and I have an even greater need to get all kinds of things off my chest. Now, why she started writing a diary and what was the reason for that? The author feels that it is strange and unusual for her to write in a diary about her feelings and experiences because it was the first time she was doing it. She feels this because she thinks that in the future no one would be interested in reading what a young schoolgirl noted down about her past life. She thinks that later even she will not be also interested in reading her diary. But then she puts these thoughts away and decides that she should write if she feels like doing so. She feels the need to write because there were a lot of thoughts she was holding on to and she needed to get rid of them from her mind. She wanted to just throw out all those thoughts from her mind, so she decided that she's going to write everything in a diary and then she'll get rid of those thoughts. Paper has more patience than people. I thought of this saying on one of those days when I was feeling a little depressed and was sitting at home with my chin in my hands, bored and listless, wondering whether to stay in or go out. Now, one day she thought of this that paper can absorb more thoughts. Paper has more patience means she said even if she pen down her thoughts, that would be more convenient, as paper can have more patience than people. She was not able to find anybody suitable who could listen to her patiently. People have low patience level, but a piece of paper, being a non-living thing, would not refuse from taking her thoughts. This realization came to her one day when she was feeling more sad and confused than usual. Now, listless means with no energy or interest. I finally stayed where I was brooding. Brooding means she was engaged or in some deep thoughts, worried kind of feeling. Yes, paper does have more patience. And since I'm not planning to let anyone else read this stiff backed notebook, grandly referred to as a diary, unless I should ever find a real friend, it probably won't make a bit of difference. Now she was gifted this diary on her 13th birthday, and so she decided that yes, today I'm going to write all whatever feelings I'm having. I'll pour them all into this diary, and I don't want anyone else to read this. So she would be my real friend whom I could confide into, and probably it would not make any difference to it also. By real friend, she meant a friend that whom she could share all her secrets. She comes back to the point where she thoughts of beginning to write. It is because she is lonely and has no friend to talk to. She is not open to anybody. Now I'm back to the point that prompted me to keep a diary in the first place. I don't have a friend. Now she was not having any friends, so she decided that she's going to write the diary. Let me put it more clearly. Since no one will believe that a 13-year-old girl is completely alone in the world, and I'm not. I have loving parents and a 16-year-old sister, and there are about 30 people I can call friends. Now she said when somebody will read this diary, they would be surprised that how could a 13-year-old girl be completely alone in the world. So let me make my point clear. I have loving parents, I have sister and 30 people whom I could call friend. I have a family, loving aunts and good home. No, on the surface I seem to have everything except my one true friend. She said that if you look at my life, you could see that I have number of people around me, but for me there is not a single true friend whom I could confide into or could share my thoughts with them. All I think about when I'm with friends is having a good time. She says I have a good time with them, I enjoy with them. I can't bring myself to talk about anything but ordinary everyday things. So she says I cannot talk special. I cannot have some certain kind of discussions, or I cannot pour my feelings with them. I can just discuss the ordinary everyday things, have fun with them, that's it. We don't seem to be able to get any closer, and that's the problem. She says the main problem is this only, that we are not very close to each other. Maybe it's my fault that we don't confide in each other. In any case, that's just how things are, and unfortunately, they're not liable to change. This is why I've started the diary. She says maybe it's my fault, or that I don't open to them, or I don't like to share my personal things with others. But this is the way the things are, and it's very unfortunate that they are not going to change. So I decided that I'm going to write a diary. To enhance the image of this long awaited friend in my imagination, I don't want to jot down the facts in this diary the way most people would do. But I want the diary to be my friend, and I'm going to call this friend Kitty. She says I'm very happy that I got a very a long awaited friend. And I don't want to just jot down whatever is happening in my day to day life. I woke up at this time, or I went to the washroom, I did my homework. I don't want to do like this. I want this diary to be my friend, and I'm going to call this friend Kitty. And she started writing her diary by the name of Kitty, and she named her diary as her best friend Kitty. Now, since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty, if I were to plunge right in, I'd better provide a brief sketch of my life, much as I dislike doing so. Now, here she was herself a bit confused that how to do that, how to go about it, how I am going to write. Most people would do. She says, if I were to plunge right in, I'd better provide a brief sketch of my life, much as I liked doing so. So, despite not wanting to do so, she gives brief details about her life, although she didn't wanted to write down the brief details of her life. But then it was a diary, hoping that someone would read her diary one day. She thinks that it's better to give few details about the background of the story. It would make her diary reading more effective. My father, the most adorable father I've ever seen, didn't marry my mother until he was 36 and she was 25. My sister Margaret was born in Frankfurt in Germany in 1926. I was born on 12 June in 1929. I lived in Frankfurt until I was 4. Now she started giving the brief description of her family. She told about her father and mother that they got married when the father was of age 36 and mother of 25. Then her sister was born in 1926. She was herself born in 1929. Earlier they lived in Frankfurt till she was 4 years of age. Now my father emigrated to Holland in 1933. My mother, Edith Hollander Frank, went with him to Holland in September, while Margaret and I were sent to Aachen to stay with our grandmother. Now this was the brief description she was giving when her father shifted to Holland. Then mother was also with him, and they both daughters were sent to their grandmother. Margaret went to Holland in December, and I followed in February. Now after a few months, her sister also went, and in February she also went to the family. When I was plunked down on the table as a birthday present for Margaret, and then in February when it was her sister's birthday, she was gifted her as a birthday gift. I started right away at the Montessori Nursery School. I stayed there until I was 6, at which time I started in the first form. In the sixth form, now sixth form means sixth class, my teacher was Mrs. Cuprus, the headmistress. At the end of the year, we were both in tears as we said a heart-breaking farewell. Now, these words shows that she was very close to her teacher, who was also the headmistress, Mrs. Cuprus. In the summer of 1941, Grandma fell ill and had to have an operation, so my birthday passed with little celebration. Grandma died in January 1942. No one knows how often I think of her and still love her. Now she loved her grandmother very much and missed her till that time also when she was writing this diary. This birthday celebration in 1942 was intended to make up for the other, and grandma's candle was lit along with the rest. Now earlier in 41, her birthday was not celebrated well as her grandmother was ill and had an operation. But in 42 she died. Then again she said that I was missing my grandmother on the birthday, because along with my birthday candles, her candle was also lit. The four of us are still doing well, and that brings me to the present date of 20th June 1942 and the solemn dedication of my diary. Now she is putting the dates also and telling when she is writing and how she is expressing. Now this is, see, Saturday 20th June. Dear Kitty, Our entire class is quaking in boots. Now, quaking in boots means, it's a phrase. It means that everybody was nervous and scared. The reason, of course, is the forthcoming meeting in which the teachers decide who will move up to the next form and who will be kept back. Actually, it was their result day, and then the teacher will be declaring that who will be going to the next class and how many would be staying back. Half of the class is making bets. Bets means they were just guessing that, oh, if this happens, we'll give this to you and all. GN and I laugh ourselves silly at the two boys behind us. CN and Jackie's, who have staked their entire holiday savings on their bet. Now they had just putting money on the stake for these bets that I'll give you this much money, and CN and Jackie's have put all their holiday savings for the bet. From morning to night, it's you are going to pass, no I'm not, yes you are, no I'm not. Even G's pleading glances and my angry outburst can't calm them down. She says that she was angry on them. Stop it, why you're guessing you will be going or I will be going? No point arguing things. But then also nobody was stopping to do all these things. Her pleading glances means when she was looking at them as if she was requesting them, and angry outburst when she shouted over them. If you ask me, there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should be kept back. But teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on the earth. Now she says that if my opinion was to be taken, then according to me, half of the class should be kept back. But she says, see, teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on the earth. You don't know what they are going to decide for future, and how they are going to evaluate who is going to go to the next class. Their evaluation is entirely different from what the children think. I'm not so worried about my girlfriends and myself. We'll make it. She was quite sure that she and her friends are really going to pass and go to the next class. The only subject I'm not sure about is maths. In generally the children are scared of maths only. Anyway, all we can do is wait. She said we have no other alternative. We can only wait for the result. Until then, we keep telling each other not to lose heart. Now they were consoling each other. Till then, they were just telling, oh, don't worry, everything will be fine. I get along pretty well with all my teachers. She said I was well adjusted with all my teachers and liked by them. There are 9 of them, 7 men and 2 women. Now here she describes how many teachers she was at that time she was in touch with. There were 7 men and 2 women. Mr. Keesing, the old fogey who teaches maths. Old fogey means the person who is not very careful about the fashions and simply dressed, was annoyed with me for ages. She said he used to be generally annoyed with me because I talked so much, because Anne was quite talkative. After several warnings, he assigned me extra homework, an essay on the subject, a chatterbox. Now, just to give her a punishment, he gave him to write an essay on the topic a chatterbox. A chatterbox, what can you write about that? I'd worry about that later. I decided. I jotted down the title in my notebook, tucked it in my bag and tried to keep quiet. She said, now what can a child write on this topic, a chatterbox? But that time I said, okay, I'll think it over later. And she just noted down the topic in her notebook and kept the notebook in the bag. That evening, after I'd finished the rest of my homework, the note about the essay caught my eye. I began thinking about the subject while chewing the tip of my fountain pen. Anyone could ramble on the leaf, big spaces between the words, but the trick was to come up with convincing arguments to prove the necessity of talking. Now she said anybody could write on that topic, but I wanted to write it in a convincing way, that if I was talking, it should be proved that I was talking something necessary. It was important for me to talk at that time. I thought, and suddenly I had an idea. I wrote the 3 pages Mr. Keesing had assigned me and was satisfied. I argued that talking is a student's trait and that it would do my best to keep it under control. She said, I wrote that it's a common practice for children to talk in the class, but I'll try that I will control this next time in the class and would not disturb. But that I would never be able to cure myself of the habit, since my mother talked as much as I did, if not more, then there's not much you can do about inherited traits. Now she blamed her talkativeness to her mother. She said, I talk because my mother is like that. My mother also talks too much. And when you have these qualities inherited, that that is, they are hereditary characteristics. Traits means qualities. It could be physical, it could be mental, or what you get from your parents. She said, you can't do anything about that. So if I'm talkative, the reason is my mother is also talkative. Mr. Keesing had a good laugh at my arguments. But when I proceeded to talk my way through the next lesson, he assigned me a second essay. Although Mr. Keesing laughed at the essay what she wrote, but again in the class she started talking. This time again a second essay was given by the maths teacher. This time it was supposed to be an incorrigible chatterbox. Incorrigible means the person who cannot be corrected, does not mend his ways. I handed it in, and Mr. Keesing had nothing to complain about for 2 whole lessons. However, during the third lesson, he finally had enough. And Frank, as punishment for talking in class, write an essay entitled Quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox. Now, she wrote the essay on incorrigible chatterbox. Then Mr. Keesing was satisfied with that, and then next 2 chapters she didn't disturb the class. But again, for the third lesson, he had a reason to punish her again, and this time the title was Quack, 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 said Mr. Chatterbox. Now, every time when she used to disturb her maths teacher, he would give her a punishment to write an essay. The class roared. I had to laugh too, though I'd nearly exhausted my ingenuity on the topic of chatterboxes. She said class started laughing, but writing those previous essays and now getting this third one, I was just tired. Exhausted means tired of writing some original things on the same topic again, chatterboxes. So she was fed up of writing that and don't know what to do. It was time to come up with something else, something original. So she thought that something again, she had to think it over and write something very great. My friend Sains, who's good at poetry, offered to help me write the essay from beginning to end in verse, and I jumped for joy. Now here her friend Sain helped her. She said, who was very good at writing poetry. She said, I'll help you to write in a verse form. Verse means in a poetry form. Mr. Keesing was trying to play a joke on me with his ridiculous subject, but I'd make sure the joke was on him. Now Mr. Keesing was trying to just give her a punishment, but she thought that it would be a good thing if that joke title would be taken as an opportunity. Now see, many times when we are rebuked by others, we feel that we are not good at this, or they are doing it something just to insult us. But that girl didn't take it as insult, and she thought it to be an opportunity to prove her point in such a way that the teacher also could have something nice to read. I finished my poem and it was beautiful. It was about a mother duck and a father swan with 3 baby ducklings who were bitten to death by the father because they quacked too much. And then she wrote a nice poetry, and the poetry depicted a story of mother duck, and father duck has bitten his 3 ducklings just because they were talking too much, they were quacking too much. Luckily, Mr. Keesing took the joke the right way. He read the poem to the class, adding his own comments, and to several other classes as well. Since then, I've been allowed to talk and haven't been assigned any extra homework. On the contrary, Mr. Keesing's always making jokes these days. Now, she was lucky enough. Mr. Keesing was just touched by that poem. He read that poem to everybody in the other classes also. He added his own comments also, but now he had stopped being irritated by the things done by the other students in the class, and he himself became humorous. He started making jokes in the class. Now, now she was quite very happy because she was able to reform a person. Now Mr. Keesing, every now and then in front of the class also, he would not punish others and enjoy the class and the movements and the other activities of all the children. So this was the complete explanation of the chapter. Meet you soon with another chapter. Thank you.